The language switcher module is a pretty powerful module, and depending upon what kind of site you have, you may or may not be using multi-languages on your website, but this module is going to display a list of available content languages as defined and published in your Language Manager Content tab. And it does that for switching between them when one wants to use Joomla as a multi-language site. So the plugin System Language Filter has to be enabled. So make sure you go to the Plugins tab, and that's up here under Extensions and then Plugin Manager. Find the System-Language Filter and make sure that's enabled. When switching languages, and if the menu item displaying the page is not associated to another menu item, the module redirects to the home page defined for the chosen language. That's important to note. Otherwise, if the parameter is set for the language filter plugin, it will redirect to the associated menu item in the language chosen. Thereafter, the navigation will be the one defined for that language. If the plugin System Language Filter is disabled, this may have unwanted results. So the method here is open the Language Manager Content tab and make sure the languages you want to use in content are published and have a language code for the URL as well as prefix for the images used in the module display. And there's a video that explains how to do that inside your Language Manager Content tab. You want to create a home page by assigning a language to a new menu item and defining it as default home page for each published content language. Thereafter, you can assign a language to any article, category, module, newsfeed, or web link inside Joomla. You want to make sure that the module is published and the plugins are enabled. And when using associated menu items, you want to make sure the module is displayed on the pages concerned. The way the flags or names of the language are displayed is defined by the ordering in the Language Manager Content languages. If this module is published, it is suggested to publish the Administrator Multi-Language Status module as well. On the top right-hand side here, we've got pre-text and post-text. Do you want to use the drop-down? It says here, if yes, the display parameters below will be ignored. So all this stuff below will be ignored if you're using drop-downs. And the content language natives' names will be displayed in the drop-down. If use drop-down is set to yes, everything will below be ignored. Pardon me. And if it's set to no, then it's going to want to display use the image flags, and you want to use those. And the horizontal display, yes or no, default is to yes. The active language, display or not the active language. If displayed, the class lang active will be added to the element there. And again, this will be ignored if everything is set to yes. If the flags are set to yes, then this stuff will be ignored here. If they're not set to yes, then it's going to use the language names instead of the flag. So again here, read the tooltips. They're pretty self-explanatory. If you set this to yes, and image flags are set to no. So if we have image flags here, and we set this to no, and this is set to yes, then what's going to happen is full content language native names are going to be displayed. So if we set it to no, uppercase abbreviations from the content language's URL language code are going to be used. Example, EN for English, FR for French. So this is saying if we have the image flag set to no and the language full name set to yes, it's going to show full names. If we set this to no, it's then going to use the abbreviations from the content language's URL language code. And that URL language code gets set up here inside the extensions, the Language Manager. Inside the English here. And we've got installed content languages. So here's the URL language code, the EN. It's going to show the abbreviation for that up in whatever position you put this in, because again, this is a module that we created for the language switcher. So it's going to put this information in whatever position this is. So normally you would see this type of thing at the top of a website where someone can choose their language. You might simply find that drop downs are easiest depending upon the layout of your website and where you have modules published. This other functionality here by using flags or not using flags, and instead using a full name or perhaps the abbreviation will be more suitable. So I hope that was clear. Thanks.